My guest this week on the Bruce Lee podcast is another amazing member of our warrior family, Dean Jagger. Born in Yorkshire, Dean studied acting in London, later landing a role on Game of Thrones, playing the character of Smalljon Umber. But I came to really know and love Dean as Irish bare-knuckle boxing champion Dylan Leary on Warrior, where he does an amazing job of heading up the unofficial Irish labor movement on our show. Dean brings a riveting level of realness and strength to the role while also managing to be sympathetic and engaging for audiences. While he and Andrew Koji play nemesis on Warrior, in real life, they have developed a sincere bond of friendship that goes well beyond the show. I got to be in South Africa on set to watch the filming of the late night slugfest between Assam and Leary, and it was truly amazing with everyone around, cast, crew, and extras giving all their support and energy to these two as they gave it their all until the sun was coming up over Cape Town. Dean is a wonderful, fun, energetic, upbeat human being that I love hanging out with. We had so much fun doing this episode. And he and his name have some fascinating Bruce Lee origin stories too. So come listen in while Dean and I talk Bruce Lee, warrior, family, and life, and share some of our wisdom on the Bruce Lee podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bruce Lee podcast. My guest today is...
Well, Dean Jagger, but I'm supporting Bruce right now.
Dean Jagger with some Bruce love.
Yeah. Do you know what it says, this t-shirt? It says...
What does it say there?
I'll take a read.
We need emotional content.
Which is true.
It is true.
Yeah.
It is true.
I think Warrior fills that void. So.
Oh, yeah?
Just promoting a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Warrior.
No.
For sure.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you so much, love, for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. It's great to do this in person.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely is. It is. I think we've all been living in this like digital kind of screen, like, you know, world. So it's nice to.
I know, like real person. Yeah, for sure. So you're living in LA right now?
Yeah. Finally, it's a story in itself, actually. So I went home 2 years ago to redo my visa. Mm-hmm. And what I thought was going to be 2 months turned out to be 18 months.
Oh, wow.
So I've just kind of like been fighting my way to get back. And actually I'm back by default because I've just done a job, which has allowed me to come back. So I'm happy to be here. So.
And what job did you just do?
C, the new Apple show, C.
Yay!
That's all we can say, actually.
That's all we can say.
Whatever. So, yeah. So
that's all we can say because it's not out yet. So
months to work. It'll be a good one, I think.
But that's exciting, and you got to work with Jonathan Tropper.
Oh yeah, I did. The guys like bailed me out so many times, you know. But yeah, it's always amazing to work with Jonathan, like creatively, and he's a good friend now. You know, as you know, so it was really nice to be back in the mix with him.
Yeah, and there are a few other of the Warrior fam on that show.
That's right, Olivia,
and
Hoon. Man, I've actually seen some like the work on the actual show, and obviously season 2 is airing right now, and I think it's really gonna be a great show. Yeah. You know, obviously shows, they always take a little bit of time to find themselves, don't they? Every show does, but from what I've seen, I'm super like stoked.
I'm watching it now myself.
Oh, very nice.
And
very nice.
Well, JT runs Mean Show.
Yeah,
he does a good job.
Oh, absolutely, he's a beast, right?
Yeah, he really is.
I don't know. I've never met a guy that it is the ability to spin so many plates, but just be so like calm and collected. And I'm just like, yeah, man. I mean,
and he's so like quick and on it, and like as you say, he's got all these different storylines running through his head. I don't even know how he manages it. Yeah,
I mean, it's just I don't know. Like I said, he's just got one of those fast creative minds, but he's so personable as well with people. He's so good with people. You know what I mean? And I think that makes a massive difference in being a showrunner. You know, being an orchestrator, you've got to have that type of skill set, right?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So you're excited for season 3 of Warrior?
What's that? Of course, I'm excited for season 3 of Warrior.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying, I'm gonna find any kind of ways possible to try find out what's gonna happen in this writer's room. I am watching you. We are watching you.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be popping into the writer's room occasionally.
What we're talking about? Of course you are. Of course you are.
So if you're real nice to me.
I can't wait. I don't know. I'm really excited, and I'm so proud as well. Yeah. I mean, this show has championed itself from day one, and it kind of like, in a way, being on the platform that it started out on, it was kind of like an underdog. But I think they always make the best stories, don't they? When the show airs and then it builds that kind of fan base and the fans stick behind it. And I knew that was going to happen. I felt like that was going to happen, even in the times where it looked like it wasn't going to continue.
Yeah.
But my mum also said that as well.
Oh, wow.
Mom, she always says, she said, you're going back, no matter what, you are going back. You're going back. My family's been like, they've been diehard Bruce Lee fans since. I'm not just saying that because I'm sat here with you and I'm so blessed. I feel so great to be sat with you, but this is just the truth. We have been like diehard fans since, our young boys. So
yeah,
we always had the faith. So I'm super excited that we're getting to come back and continue the story.
Yeah, me too. It's funny how I think all of us, it's funny because I talked to Jonathan about it, and he was like, all these, everyone was just like, oh yeah, no, we're going to get this show back on the air. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep going. And he was having like the internal conversations that weren't going well. And so he was like, I don't know why everyone's so optimistic.
I think what you're right. No, yeah, absolutely. It kind of like, I was like literally like on edge, because I think what JT were doing, and I think it was right of him to do it. It was managing people's expectations, because it mattered so much to us all, didn't it? The fact that, and what we started to were a really beautiful thing. I felt such a big obligation as well to, obviously you do as an actor to try and get things right, but because I was a massive fan, I felt that the undertaking was it's a big thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's a big obligation, and in all the right ways, the pressure you feel to do right by the stories was quite great. But I think that's what pulled everyone together so much. That's why we gravitated together as a family like we did, because it was a big undertaking.
It was there, and it's funny because we
feel that, right?
Oh, definitely. And it almost feels like, if we want to go there, which I usually do want to go there, is it was almost like the spirit of my dad was just like,
I felt that
spinning his like magic around all of us and going like, yes.
I felt that, and I was like trying to tap in. I would force myself to tap in. I was getting my Bruce on, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. As many times as I could, I always found time to do that, but without sounding too like, I'm not sounding like corny or anything like that. But I do 100% believe that. I'm a very spiritual person, anyways, and I believe in all that stuff. And I felt that. I did feel that, and I think that's why we're still going today.
Yeah,
it's a massive part in it, of course. The guy, your father, is a legend, and I think that his spirit, his energy is all over it.
Yeah,
for sure. I feel that.
I agree.
For sure.
And Warrior's been an underdog story, and my father's story is an underdog story, and one that
absolutely
has triumphed.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it didn't have it easy, did he? Father,
no.
At all. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
no, but I love it. And I do really feel like we always talk about, our warrior family, but there really is a sense of family amongst us.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I can safely say that if any one of us were to happen to bump into each other down the street, we'd be like hugs for days, seriously. Yeah. And that's all of us. Do you know what I mean? We don't do like favorites. We are like a family, aren't we? You know what I mean? And it was interesting because I always go back to this like one time on season 1, and all the cast got together at Taslim's house, and we were watching Enter the Dragon. Some of the girls have not watched it, right? Some of the girls that watched it, shame on you! You should have watched this, right? But we were all there at Taslim's house, and we were watching Enter the Dragon, and we were before we started watching the movie, we were eating food, and Perry were playing the guitar, and video games were getting played, and it was such a lovely. You just couldn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Everyone was just so comfortable and together. You know what I mean? It just couldn't do anything wrong. And I think about that. I think about that a lot. I think about what I just told you as well. If should I meet any of them in the street, they'd throw their arms around me like I throw their arms around them, and that says something. Does that? Yeah. Just say something. We've all kept in touch.
I know. Well, we're
regularly, all the time.
Yeah. And I'm just so grateful, and also I think it's such a beautiful thing. Like anytime I'm like, hey, could you guys do this, or are you guys interested in helping out with that? Everybody's just like
swarming. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. You know, it means a lot to us. So, and it means a lot to the fans as well. You know, it's really for them as well. It's a big deal. You know, I've like a few times I've happened to be tapped on the shoulder while I've been back in town saying, you're the Irishman, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm Irish. I'm like, love the show. I know it's so nice to have that experience with the fans. It really like makes everything like worth it. It's great.
That's amazing. Yeah. And you and Andrew Koji are pretty good friends, right? You've formed a bond.
He's my bro. Yeah, he really has. And it's so fun because obviously on screen we're just knocking the crap out of each other. But like in real life, if you just knew, it's a comedy. Yeah. It's a comedy. It's comedy. You know, me, Koji, Taslim, you know, Brett Chan, you know, we're all like lads, you know, and I think that through the training and stuff and the preparation for some of this, you know, stuff that we've done on Warrior, it made us really like gravitate towards each other. I mean, season 2, the fight with me and Andrew, I mean, that was like...
I was there when you guys were filming that.
Oh, yeah, I know, When we turned up after the morning, after we were half dead, we all met. You give me that Bruce Lee t-shirt that morning, you know, you got your dad's... And I can remember like turning up with Koji, like just half dead, but it were amazing. We shot all the way through the night. But I mean, it's moments like that you share with, you know, with your cast friends that really like bond you and whatnot. And he's interesting. His Koji actually, he's very different. He's different. He's a bit of an edgy guy, a bit of a geezer. You know what I mean? Right in. But when you actually really get to know him, he's such a like sweetheart. He's so lovely. He's the most caring person, you know. He really is. Yeah, he's beautiful. Yeah. And he's perfect, you know. He's our Sam is the reason why he's a warrior. Yeah, totally. You know? Yeah. No, we were so, you know, we saw a lot of people for the role of Assam, and he just had so much heart and so much depth and soul to him. It just was. And did you know that he was actually going to he was thinking about just walking away from acting before Warrior? Did you know that? Yeah. You were having a tough time. We all do as actors, you know, we all do, you know, and you know, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. There's no kind of shortcuts, right? But and you know Olivia too. Right, yeah, she told me that, right? She told me that as well, yeah. And she was like working and stuff. She's been like, you know, working and whatnot. But I think that sometimes you don't always get the type of job that you want. Sometimes you're not, obviously as an actor, you're not working as much as you'd like when you're getting started, that's for sure. But like, I think it's all about trying to keep encouraged, you know, through, you know, the stagnation or waiting on a call, the closed doors. But yeah, Koji, I remember him telling me that, and it just makes so much sense because you hear these stories, don't you, about, you know, artists. It doesn't have to be actors, but people have just been there forever and it's just not working out. And then they're just like, you know, fuck this. Right. And then to get the call, like, what? The universe is just a big game, right? Yeah, it feels like it's a big game, you know, but you believe in the power of manifestation. Do you believe in that? I do. Of course you believe in that. I know you believe in that. Of course you do. Look what you're doing, for Pete's sake. But you know what I mean? It's what I'm saying, though. I think that in terms of like, we're going on all kinds of different like tangents now, aren't we? But I feel that I think that generally, like in life, whether you're an actor, you're, you know, a tradesperson, whatever you're doing in life, I think that sticking around is really important. You know, being present is important, and you know, I think that if you've got something to give, if you really feel like you've got something to give, whatever it is that you're doing, I think that eventually the juice is going to be worth the squeeze, isn't it? Yes. You just got to stick around, right? Yes. That's what we do. Yeah. No, I agree 100% with that. And sometimes you think, gosh, I've been toiling away at this for so long. And then all of a sudden, like even when I first started watching After My Dad's Business,
in the beginning, I was like, "Why? I don't know what I'm doing. This is crazy. I don't know how to run a business. I have a degree in music.
Scary, right?
I was acting before this,
Yeah.
And I just was like, I would make mistakes. I would, try things. It wouldn't work out. I was not good at certain things. And then all of a sudden, one day, 20 years went by, and I was like, oh, I think this is all finally starting to it was worth all of those lessons, all of that confusion, all of that, to suddenly get to a place where, so many aspects to it are so clear to me, and being able to finally start to manifest all the stuff that
I think that's really, really valid, and I completely understand with what you're saying there. I think that the challenges like in life that we get thrown at us and whatnot, it is just literally shaping us up for what's to come. And if you look back in your life as well, I'm sure you've done this many times. You've had a full life so far. You're killing it, right? But like when you look back, right, on the timeline, I look at it and I think, wow, that really is by design. It has to be by some kind of design because it seems to be perfect in time. I know for a fact that in my 30s, early 30s, I'll openly admit to you that I didn't really know who I was, to be honest with you.
Yeah, sure,
right?
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit chaos, isn't it, out there when you're trying to find things in life and you're trying to get after stuff in life and whatnot. It's like, I think it's really important just to try be as present as possible and be good to yourself too. Do you know what I mean? That's another thing.
That is so important.
You know what I mean?
We are all so hard on ourselves, and it's just not necessary. And a lot of times
I'm hard on myself so much. You know what I mean? I really am. I'm just like, you know what I mean? But
we all are. And it's like, gosh, we wouldn't be as hard on another person as we are on ourselves. And a lot of times us being hard on ourselves actually slows our progress.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you don't want to be all full of yourself and egotistical. Yeah. There's a balance to be struck. Yeah. But all of this, like, oh, God, I'm so stupid, or da. It puts this energy, this negative energy on you that drains.
I think it's always important to surround yourself with the right type of people too. Yeah. And that's another thing, like dialing into like family, right, and whatnot. It's really important that you got to feel held, right? Mm-hmm. Heard, loved, all that kind of stuff. Respected. You've got to feel like all those. You got to be encouraged as well. You've got to feel safe. I feel, and you got to like choose who's around you really, really carefully. You know what I mean?
And I think that's a lesson you don't learn as well until you're a little bit older.
Absolutely not. Hey, we won't go down that route because I've got some stories for you. But yeah, absolutely. Oh boy.
Yeah, no, as you say, I think the design is really there. I'm always when I go through anything in my life that I have to really work through and really process and really get on the other side of, I'm always like, God, that was perfectly designed for me. Yeah. To learn exactly the thing that I needed to learn to now be in this place.
Absolutely. Do you do like do you have crystals? You've got all kinds of like spiritual
stuff
in there.
I can see, right? We're in my house, so.
I've not been here too long, but I've been trying to look around and trying to find stuff without Shannon knowing. Good chance I might take a few of these things away with me, but we'll see. I'm only joking.
Of course. Anyway, I know where to find you. So.
Yeah, it's true. And by the way, that writer's room's coming up, so it's fine. Don't you worry. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So as you say, our theme this season is family. Yeah. So what is the feeling of the word family for you?
Man, it's the feeling of it. There's so many different types of things that I can think about that encapsulates or that goes into the family. I think it's like love is to be loved. It's just love. If it was to be one word, family, it'd be like love. But I think what it's funny because I've heard this saying before that you can't really pick your family, choose your family. Well, you actually can because, immediate family aside, I've got a huge family that I don't really speak to, but I've been fortunate enough to have my own family as you go through life, right? And
definitely.
Warrior being one of those, absolutely. And I feel that you have to the key to it is, and I hope I'm still answering your question, is that it's
we'll get back to it. If we miss it, we'll get back to it.
Is it you've got to like make the time. That's what it is. You've got to make that time. You've got to put in that time and the effort into that relationship. And if that's reciprocated, and it's got all the right things, like said, like love, like empathy, like, you got to be encouraged, you've got to be able to be fragile also with these type of with that person. That makes family, as long as it's reciprocated. You know what I mean?
So it sounds to me like the feeling of family is like sincere connection.
She's so much better than this to me. See, I just did a huge banana. So what did you say again? Like
sincere connection. Reciprocal connection.
Yes.
Like we're in a vortex together, right?
Absolutely, connection.
And that you can just be who you are, and that's encouraged and okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that is it. That is really it.
Yeah. And that's love.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's love. Look at that.
We've solved
it. Okay. But no. It is everything. It's what it's all about, actually. You know what I mean? It really is what it's all about. And it doesn't matter what you've got, where you are in your life. If you have that, you have that, then you're rich. Then you're a rich person, despite what you have, what you don't have.
Totally. So, I agree with that 100%. And I like what you said about chosen family in addition to, your immediate blood family, right? Because I have so many people in my life who are chosen family, and I'm so grateful for those people. They're invaluable humans to me, and they bring so much, as you say, wealth to my life.
It's important, isn't it? It's everything, isn't it? Yeah. And like I said, it's all that has that the feeling of safety then as well, that like you're not alone and stuff. Because let's be honest, like it can be wild out there, can't it? Do you know what I mean? It can be.
If the last couple of years have taught us anything.
Oh boy. But yeah, it's really important to have that kind of support system, in your life. It's everything to me. You know what I mean? It really is everything to me, and it comes first before everything. It comes first, Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I've always been this like person that's always had this like aspiration of a dream, or having, having something to work towards. And I've always had like interest in dreams. Being such a little kid, I've always like wanted. But like I think with all that aside, that this is what we've got. This is family. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Well, there are those who are part of the dream, or who are cheering you on toward whatever dream you've got, right?
Well, that's it as well. You can always tell. I mean, you can always tell. Like there's people that are generally like pleased for you, that are generally like love whatever you're doing for you. Mm-hmm. You can just tell.
Yeah.
You just know the ones, you know what I mean, that are just really supposed to be there and in your life. And you just know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a Bruce Lee podcast, and you mentioned that you're a fan. So I always just like to know, like, what's your Bruce Lee origin story? Like,
I've got a couple of origin stories. I've got one that's wild that no one will probably believe me, but it's nothing to do with me. It's to do with my father.
Okay.
But anyways, well, I can say this. So to this day, I've watched nearly all Bruce's films, probably every single one of them, but there's one that's escaping me, and it's the first piece of footage that I saw of Bruce Lee, right? So where he's scratching at a grave.
Yeah, that's...
Holy shit, right? So I was very young, and obviously my dad were a big Bruce Lee fan, and I can remember seeing that scene, and that was the very first time that I saw Bruce, and I was fucking traumatized. I was so like engaged, but so like how intense it actually was.
Yeah.
And after I saw that scene, I just needed to watch more of Bruce Lee's films and whatnot. But that was the first thing that I actually ever saw. Can you tell me what film that was, love? That was
Fist of Fury, aka Chinese Connection.
Right. my word, that was like literally just catapulted me into something I wasn't ready for. Do you know what I mean? So then,
what age were you?
I can't even tell you. I was so young. I mean, listen, my parents used to let me and my brother watch everything. Like, you know what I mean? There were no like kind of shame on you, parents. By the way, there were no filter. We could watch anything. But I don't know what age I was, but I know that shortly after that, I don't know how much time after that, but I actually got myself the Jeet Kune Do book. I got I got it. I got myself that book, and there were like his drawings in there and everything from a super young age. My brother Ben, he had my mum had a canvas made of his face, like almost like ghosted out with Bruce Lee behind him. So that happened, you know.
Right on, Mom.
Yeah, no, honestly, seriously, like we're all, but like my dad were a big Bruce Lee nut, and this is a crazy story actually. So my uncle Bruce, who was called Bruce, right? My uncle Bruce told me this story. My dad, they'd just been at they'd been watching like a movie, a Bruce Lee film and stuff like that. And they'd gone out for a couple of drinks and they were calling it at night and they went to a local fish and chip shop. True story. This is so bad of my dad. My dad hates bullies, right? We don't like bullies, do we? You don't like bullies. I don't like bullies.
Who likes bullies?
Right. So my dad comes into this, my dad and Uncle Bruce go into this fish and chip shop, and then there's a couple of lads there that have been drinking and stuff like that. And they're picking on this old man, bless him, who was trying to eat his food. He had a flat cap on. This old man were eating his food. And my dad saw what these guys were doing to this poor old bloke, and they kept taking his hat off his head. And, you know, he would just kept quiet. I fucking hate anything like this. So my dad went up to him, squared up to him, and I completely took care of both of them. But my Uncle Bruce said that he screamed like Bruce Lee when he did it. And just wiped these two guys out. And then the old guy got to eat his fish and chips and he was safe. But yeah, that was my dad for you. That's my dad. That's a true story.
Wow.
So you know, in the spirit of Bruce Lee, my dad like looked after this older gentleman that were trying to eat his fish and chips, being picked on by these younger guys, and my dad just iced them out, pretending he was Bruce Lee. That's my Bruce Lee story. As weird as he channeled Bruce Lee. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So did you train when you were younger?
I did train when I mean, obviously when I got the book, obviously I was doing all kinds of stuff. But I wasn't really training now.
Officially.
I was just too busy being boisterous and you know, getting into trouble now and then, trying to keep out of trouble. Sorry, should I say?
How did you do it then?
You know what? Yeah, right.
You made it here this far. So.
The thing of it is, this is going back to the whole parenting thing. I had really cool parents, and they kind of had this trust in us. And when I say get into trouble, like, listen, I wasn't like doing anything, but I was just being boisterous, right? Sure, you know, I was just out playing adventures, and I could come home at any time that I wanted. But because I was allowed to kind of have that freedom, I didn't really choose wrong. Really, I didn't really go down any wrong paths. You know, I didn't get into drugs, didn't do anything. I avoided all that, all those shenanigans. You know, and I just I kept myself young, young at heart and stuff. But in terms of training, I did karate. You know, it's called Wadaroo, I think. I did that. That was at an early age. You know, obviously, like Bruce had every bit to do with that. You know what I mean? It inspired me to get into like the martial arts. So I did that. And then I got into boxing and things from an early age too, which, you know, kind of comes in handy with Dylan, you know.
Yeah.
So I was inspired, you know. I was absolutely inspired at a young age into training. But it's, you know, it's funny because training, it become much a bigger part of my life as I got older. Actually, sure. I guess it kind of does, doesn't it? Because you want to kind of look after yourself, don't you?
Yes, definitely. You know, and you know, I mean, my father is Bruce Lee, but after my dad died, it was a little too intimidating to continue in martial arts without him. Yeah. And then with his legacy getting so big. So
did you feel pressure as well? You must have felt an enormous amount of pressure, right?
Yeah, definitely. And so both my brother and I shied away from training in martial arts as kids after my dad died. But also because martial arts was so important to my father, we both came around to it as adults. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And I'm so grateful for that. So, you know, you know,
you've got to be a kid as well. You've got to just be a kid, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I played sports, and you know, did all the things, roller skating, riding my bike, all that.
You did roller skating?
Oh yeah.
I was a rollerblader. I was an inline skater, an athlete at a professional level.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm not bullshitting you. This is true. No one knows this, but I was doing the X Games. I've been to nearly every like kind of country that does extreme sports. I've been flown. Yeah, I used to do all that when I was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was definitely not doing it at
that
level.
You were doing like the roller disco stuff?
Yes, I'm a child of the 70s. So
am I. 78. So
I had like the 4-wheel skates with the big rubber stopper.
I think they're hard. Yeah, the big rubber stopper at the front.
Yeah.
They're hard, man. I tried that once. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. Me and my brother, we were, we were really blessed. We were. I don't know if that came about, actually. We used to... I know it came about, okay? So I watched this... it's a terrible movie. It's called Prayer of the Roller Boys, right? It was with Corey Haim. He was no longer with us, but it was like a 90s movie. And I got these pair of cheap skates from Argos, they were like yellow, plastic, leather things that were on my feet. My dad said, "What are you doing? That's like a pansy, like a girl, what you're doing." And I just loved being on these skates, and I remember just continuing just going out on these skates and whatnot. And then I joined this like local hockey team, and I got a better pair of skates, and then I just started getting better and better. Funnily enough, my dad came around to the idea that I really liked it, so he bought myself like a little ramp and things like that. It just started off really, really, really small. I started going to bigger skate parks around the country, and I just got better and better. Then me and Ben both did this together. And then, I think it was 1995, I won the British Championships. It was on Sky TV.
Wow.
I was, how old was I? I was 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. 16 years old. I had bleached blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was getting flown around the world like between the age of 16 and 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
And and from there, did you transition into acting?
I always loved acting, you see, before. I always loved acting. That's the thing. From, going to secondary school, like comprehensive school, I just loved it. I wasn't that really good at school, if I'm being honest. I loved, were you really smart? Of course she was.
No, no, I wasn't.
Don't try to make me feel bad, by the way.
No. I wasn't really smart. I did okay in school, but my brother didn't finish high school.
Yeah.
He was kicked out.
My brother was. For what, fighting?
No, for being
you'd have to tell me.
For being very challenging.
It's all right. I respect that. I was a rebel, anyways. I used to bounce on school so many times. I used to end up in the matron's office and I've got a really headache, and it's like on the right side of my head, and then it changed then to the left side of my head. I'll just stay a little bit longer. That's okay. I always used to try and get out of school as much as I could. What I did love, I loved English. I loved history. I had a history teacher. She called Miss Dawson. She was American. She used to be a cop. I used to love her, and she always used to be really nice to me. And I used to get into trouble a lot at school, but she always used to give me a free pass all the time. So I loved those classes, but I also loved a drama class, and that kind of stuck with me. And I used to do like school plays, and then I remember joining like a semi-professional theatre company as quite young, I was 14 years old. And the first theatre play as a kid I did was Bugsy Malone.
Oh wow!
I played Fat Sam. I got the pie in the face and all that shit. But,
amazing.
But it kind of the point I'm making is acting, it did stick with me all the way through it, and I never let it go. I just did let life get in the way, though, love. I let life get in the way a little bit, but it just kept tapping at me, I'll tell you that my life could have gone a complete different way. I got into a bit of trouble myself. I used to be a scrapper. I'll just have to tell you.
Yeah, that's all right. My dad used to get into that kind of trouble
too.
Yeah.
No. I've read all the stuff. Yeah, I know your street fighting, all that kind of shit. But I did as well. Me and my brother both did. We're from this small miners town. We were living off a family name. It's all that ego bullshit. And it got me into a bunch of trouble and stuff and whatnot. And I'll tell you what, right now steered me back onto the path of acting is I got into a pretty bad brawl once, and I got assaulted by somebody, and I reacted, and then I got it done, right? And I thought that I could have gone away. I thought I could have gone away, but I didn't.
Oh yeah.
Because the guy admitted to the are we okay talking about this?
Yes, of course.
Of course
we
are.
I'm okay if you're okay.
I'm okay. So right. I could have gone away. I could have gone away, but I didn't, and it kind of like really booked my ideas up, and I'm just putting this lightly, by the way. I've been in so many kind of scrapes and whatnot, but
I'm sure,
it kind of put me onto the straight and narrow. And I didn't want to like upset my family either. My mum, my dear mum, she got really upset because she knew that I had such big aspirations, but she could see my life like potentially like skew whiffing down a path that like were really bad for me. And she's seen that before with my father. I've got a beautiful family. I'm very proud of my family, but I'm thankful now that like that I straightened myself out. Because I won't be talking to you now, lass. If
that's right. Look at what you've done. Look at what you've how you've blossomed.
Wild, isn't it?
Yeah. But look, I mean, I think you have that same energy within you, but you've just channeled it differently, and you've just shifted your perspective. And you've decided to engage with life in just as energetic a way, but in a different way. Right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing of it is as well is I'm. I did like do like, went to acting classes, but I didn't have the kind of like, I didn't go to like RADA for 3 years in London. I didn't do any of that. I'm a Yorkshire lad that loves acting and I've watched loads of films and I've been inspired along the way. And I feel like I've got something to give, and that's it really.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Did you know, by the way, that there's an actor named Dean Jagger in Game of Death?
Yes. I did know. My family named me after that. Because obviously my family name's Jagger, but like my family, because my dad were a fan and stuff like that. The what is it? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, so as you may or may not know, my dad has a quote: "Under the heavens, under the sky, there's but one family."
Yeah.
So this is a question I'm asking this season. What do you think could be helpful toward bringing our human family more together to be like one?
What could be helpful?
Yeah. Like what perspective or what tool or what idea do you think would help?
Just generally now people in general? Or
just people, just humanity, just people in the world. We're very polarized right now, and everybody's,
I think we have to lose fear. I think fear is the cause, is a root of all of it. I think that we have to, if we can like let go of fear, it can solve a lot of problems. Do you know what I mean? I think that's like a thing that it's an obstacle. If we could try, and obviously it's a hard thing to do, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But if I was to think about that, it would be fear, because it creates so much. It's so many things that divide us. Do you know what I mean? I think it'd be that. It would be to lose that. Yeah. It'd be to break that down, be to try, traverse past that. Yeah.
Well, a lot of fear is just in your head, right? It's not. Yeah. I mean, if there's a tiger charging you, then that's a real thing. Yeah. But a lot of times we hold all this fear in our bodies and in our hearts and in our minds that isn't real. It's just a story we're telling ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So trying to let go of that.
Letting go of that. Yeah. And I think that we could do so many amazing things if we could like try lose the fear. A lot of us have got fear, and we use that fear in so many different ways in our lives, and it just never serves us. Yeah. And I think that would be it. And it's like origin for me if we just got rid of that kind of fear. Because people fear what they don't understand, right? Right. And that creates division. That creates a lot of things, a lot of problems. Right. That for me would be, if we could get rid of that, then I think that think it would be great. Yeah. So work toward understanding one another rather than make up fearful stories about one another. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I like it. All right. Good answer. Good question. I want to tell you. You did it. Yeah. I have two more questions for you. One more is along the same lines. I ask, no matter what season it is, I know, get ready.
No matter what season it is, I always ask toward the end of the podcast, if you had one thing, one lesson that you've learned in your life, or one piece of wisdom that you have learned in your life that you could pass on to someone else, what would it be? What is one?
That is a loaded question. But let me try to think. So a piece of wisdom that I've been given.
Or a lesson you've learned that was really helpful to you. Because to me, it's sort of about, like giving something that maybe somebody will hear it. And
it really is. I know. I think I know what it is, actually. It's I understand energy now, like you do. And I believe in karma as well. Mm-hmm. And that stuff cycles, right? And if I had to be given any kind of like God wink, then it would be to just be the best version of yourself, to be the best version of yourself, and just give people the best of yourself. Do you know what I mean? Give people the best of yourself, just be a good person and just be true to who you are. Then I think if you're a good person, you choose to be that, and you choose to be true to yourself, then you can't go wrong with,
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Those two things together, best version of yourself and be good to people.
Be people, yeah.
Yeah.
Just be good to people, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good job. So what are you excited about right now?
I'm working with my brother now. I'm back in LA. I'm working with my brother. He's a filmmaker, he's a director. We both write together, and he's done 2 movies actually. He's directed through the course of the pandemic, which is pretty impressive. Yeah. So he finished a movie in Louisiana that he directed, and he's just produced a film with his friend, like an indie film in LA. And now that I'm back, we're basically going to be getting his heads into the books, and we're going to be taking some of his content out. I've developed like 2 shows with my brother and some friends, really close friends of ours that we work with. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about taking my own kind of content out there. And, this is the thing. It's like, it's a really great thing about creating your own material is that I get to like write the stuff that took me to the cinema, those beautiful stories and big stuff that really encouraged me when I was young and stuff. And I feel like I'm reliving that, and that's magic to me. Yeah. I get to do that with my brother as well. Yeah. So it's really nice. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about Warrior. Next season, it's going to be epic. I'm also going to be paying Shannon off so she can give me information about the writing through. Just so you know.
I'll tell you what it'll take.
Yeah, exactly.
When we're done.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm super. I'll say this right now because we're talking to the fans now as well. I'm super excited for you fans, and we thank you so much. This family is everything, and I'll tell you this: the best is yet to come. I feel
no, for real. The best is yet to come.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're so excited to be able to keep the story going.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen to that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks so much for
coming over to my house.
It's been great.
It's been great, and you guys check out the show notes. Get to know Dean. He's amazing, and thanks for being on the podcast and being so wise and vulnerable with your talking.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, love.
Yeah, it's what it's all about.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
It's just want to be able to have a great conversation, talk about interesting stuff, but also pass some things on that hopefully will help other people.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Thanks, everyone.